Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Misfortune updated basic guide, and this is going to be the first updated basic guide we're going to be doing, simply because Misfortune got reworked, and this is of course the basic guide for her rework. Now, the main change that she got is in her passive, which pretty much makes her similar champion because nothing else really got changed, but she now plays very differently because she doesn't really have that burst damage anymore. But to kind of tell you more of what I mean, let's jump straight into the practice tool so we can take a look at her skills. Okay, so now as usual, we're going to give ourselves some levels. And we're going to talk about her passive. So her new passive basically is when you attack someone, you can see that you're going to get a stack, right? 2 stacks, 3 stacks. So at 3 stacks, your damage to them is going to increase by 8%. So here you can see I'm doing 80 damage to this enemy dummy. Right, let me spawn another enemy dummy. So if I attack the first enemy dummy, you can see 73 damage here, and now I'm doing 80 damage, not inclusive of the first strike damage. So yeah, you basically do 8% more damage than when it's fully stacked. So the thing is, this actually stacks, your abilities will stack this passive, not just your auto attack. So here, you can see if I Q, it's 1 stack. If I E onto these 2 people, it's going to give both of them stacks over time. So you can use your E to actually stack up your passive. So if I let this expire, and you can see if I actually E, it will fully stack your passive if they don't move out of your E, but of course everyone will. Same goes with your ulti, so if you have no stacks and you ulti them, if you guys see here, it will also stack up your passive to max stacks. So all of your abilities stack up your passive as well. But of course take note that this extra damage that you get is only from Misfortune, so it doesn't increase the damage of your team, but it only increases your damage against them. Alright, so first let's talk about her Q. So her Q basically stays the same. When you hit your Q, you can hit it like this, but if there is someone behind, you will bounce to the second person. As you can see here, it will crit on the second person, and it will stack your passive full 3 stacks automatically. So you see here, once again, pay attention to the second dummy. So here you can see the second dummy gets crit and gets a full stack passive here. So next up, we're going to talk about the W. So for the W, you have a passive and you have an active. So passively, you gain movement speed. So here, after a few seconds, it should activate, and you can see that the heart trail behind. You do get some extra movement speed on your passive. I believe it's 25 and it increases to 80 after a certain number of seconds, but if you want to activate it instantly, you can just pop it, and popping it not only gives you the movement speed but also gives you attack speed. You can see we're attacking really quickly now. Yeah, so to reduce the cooldown of your W, last time it used to be you proc your passive, so now it is kind of the same but different. So here you can see we pop the W. Now when we attack someone with a full stack passive, it's going to reduce your cooldown by 2 seconds. So you can see here that if we attack this guy with W on, and pay attention to the cooldown, you can see it doesn't really reduce until we reach full stacks, and every auto attack reduces W's cooldown by, a ton basically. So our E, you guys already know, it basically is the same thing. Nothing has changed about it. It just basically slows the enemies in a area and does a little bit of damage. And honestly, your E is most important for stacking your passive, with this new Misfortune. And the ult also remains the same. It is just a 12 waves of damage that can crit. And that's basically it for her skills. Now let's talk about her leveling order. So if I reset level, at level 1 you want to take Q. Level 2, you can take either E or you can also take W. Now, the kind of logic of taking E is you could apply some stacks with your E, and then you can go in. But I prefer to take W most of the time because I like to get the bounce on, and then I press the W and just start auto-attacking if I want to go for a trade. But either way, you want to max Q first. Of course, you take Alt whenever available. You max W second. Of course, take Alt whenever available. And you max E last. And that's pretty much it for the 11th order. So instead, now we're going to take a look at some combos. So Misfortune basically only has kind of 2 combos. So in lane, your basic trade combo is just to QW. So for example, here, if you can get an opportunity to get a good bounce, you Q, and then you W, and then you start auto-attacking, whichever target is more convenient for you, or whichever target is more important. Now, if you can sneak in an E before the combo, that's going to be the most ideal. So for example, if I E here, I W to get the movement speed, walk up, I Q, and then I start autoing. This is the kind of best case scenario where you can get off the E to stack up, and then you just go in and just start attacking. So the other combo is the one that has your ult in. So basically this combo, you don't really have so much, most of the time you won't have so much time to just use other stuff. Most of the time when an opportunity arises, all you want to do is you want to quickly E and then ult. So you E and then you ult. Now the E is very important, of course, because it helps you to stack up your passive real quick. So you want to E and then you ult to get your the slow, the passive stack, and then the ulti as well. So there is another version of this combo which involves putting on your Q. So for example, if you can sneak in a Q, there is a different version where you Q, E, and then ult like that, and also another version of the same combo where you don't E at all. So because, as you know, your Q is going to fully stack your passive. So for example, if you can get like this Q and then you have a fully stacked passive on the guy behind, you are gonna get a lot of ult damage. Of course, mostly you want to chain CC this with someone else on your team and not just, hopefully not just, by yourself. But that is basically how it works. And okay, so now we're gonna finally move on to the tips and tricks. So the first kind of trick I want to show you guys is basically bouncing your Q off minions. This is gonna be very basic because you're gonna pretty much do this every single match. But if we spawn some enemy dummies here, you can actually Q onto the minion and it will bounce onto the enemy. You can see that guy just got crit. This guy, boom, he's getting crit as well. This guy is again. So it can, of course, bounce off of minions. So yeah. So next up, another trick you can use is to W from base to get movement speed. So let's say I want to, I want to get to mid lane, right? So I'm walking pretty slowly, like you can see here. I can actually pop the W to get the movement speed immediately. I don't know if that still works. Actually, that still works. Yes. So it does fully activate Strut's movement speed. You can fully activate it like this to run to lane more quickly. And finally, the last tip and trick I have for you guys is to use your E into bushes. So for example, you can't see him here, but if you E, you can use it to face check the bushes. You can do the same for Baron and Dragon as well. So for example, let's say the enemy team has a couple of people doing the Dragon. You can simply just check this over the wall like this, and maybe even get off an ulti or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, that is pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Of course, stay tuned for a complete guide coming tomorrow, and goodbye.